The Ghost Monument, Series 11, Episode 2 of the new Doctor Who series. First of all, the new title sequence. I actually rather like it. I feel it's kind of like reminiscent of classic Doctor Who, which I know I've only seen 2 episodes of it, The 10th Planet and The War Games, go properly, but I do feel it's kind of reminiscent of kind of classic Doctor Who, which maybe Chris Chibnall was going for. But I do feel it's a kind of good way to show the series. Well, the new title sequence at least. Anyway, the plot. The Doctor and her accidental companions, Graham, Ryan, and Yaz, they end up on the planet Desolation, caught up in kind of a race between two characters named Angstrom and Epso, and they have to figure out a way to get to the Ghost Monument. The supposed finish line for the race, whereupon whoever makes it there will get quite a lot of money to help their families, while ultimately looking for the TARDIS, which they ultimately find out is the Ghost Monument. Now, Angstrom and Epso, they're playing the episode by Susan Lynch and Sean Dooley, and I personally feel they're good characters. I mean, Angstrom is supposedly that she wants to win this race so that she can help out her family, which I feel is kind of noble. And Epso, while he is rather more kind of unlikable than Angstrom, the episode is kind of framed in a way where you possibly root for Angstrom a little bit more than Epso, but even you can understand why he wants to do this anyway. He's got a rather kind of sad story partway through the episode on how his kind of mother told him to trust no one, and he wants to do this in order to kind of prove to his mother that he can do something on his own, which you do understand it is kind of noble. The kind of judge of the race, Ilin, a previous winner of the race, you do find him kind of despicable, but yeah, he's not necessarily a bad guy, he's just a bad set of circumstances and he's just cold. Now, when they find out partway through the episode that the kind of reason why Desolation is the way it is was because of a Stenza invasion, I personally feel, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, the Stenza, I feel, worked well for Jodie Whittaker's kind of first episode as the Doctor last week, but I don't know how I feel about them kind of being a main threat. I mean, possibly. I don't know. I personally felt it was a little weak, but who knows? It might get better as the weeks go. I also kind of like the fact that the companions this time around are accidental, in that we haven't really had accidental companions within you. They've always been kind of people who've had an adventure with the Doctor and then he asked them, do you want to come along with me? Yeah, which I do feel was kind of nice for the time being, with the Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat eras. But yeah, maybe it's something that I know did happen quite a bit in Classic Who, but the fact that the companions now for the series are kind of accidental, of they got whisked away and now the Doctor's main concern is to try and get them back home, I feel that's a kind of nice little touch. As I say, it's reminiscent of classic Doctor Who, and I do feel it's kind of a nice touch to it. You also, I think with the first episode and with this episode, I think it's going to be established that throughout most of this series, Ryan is going to be kind of rather kind of cold and distant towards Graham, but then kind of by the end of the series, maybe they'll have kind of bonded, and maybe even Ryan will even refer to Graham as Grandad once. Yeah. I mean, as is shown in the episode, both of them feel kind of very differently about the situation and each other. As kind of Ryan points out, Graham wants to talk about things way too much, kind of regarding their circumstances, and Graham's like, well, you don't want to talk about them enough. Which I do feel kind of shows the kind of perfect balance of kind of people going through grief. Yeah, you have the people who feel, oh, I have to carry on, I have to be strong for my loved one, and then there are also people who are like, I want to spill everything. So the two of them, I do think, show the kind of two sides of the argument of grief. Grief with the death of Grace in the previous episode. I do feel it kind of creates a nice dynamic. With the new TARDIS being revealed at the end of the episode, we saw the exterior of it kind of early on with kind of new colour and with the kind of sign on the back of it having changed from white to black. We saw that fairly on in her promotional material, and I do think it's shown kind of well here. Yeah. We saw it in the episode, but we saw it in the promotional material. The thing that we didn't see so much in the promotional material, except for one slight leak, was the new TARDIS interior, which is kind of a mixture of steampunk and crystal, which, it works very well. The new TARDIS is kind of mostly crystal, but then also has kind of steampunk elements of cogs and dark pieces in the background, which, yeah. How do I feel about it? I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I mean, it might grow on me. I mean, the other TARDISes, when they changed, they did grow on me, so I'll give it a chance. I might grow to like it as well. I feel it's kind of more... I know we've entered a kind of new era of Doctor Who, the Chibnall era, whereas kind of, I feel this one is kind of more similar to the Russell T Davies era than the Stephen Moffat era, but then it does have kind of elements of the Stephen Moffat TARDIS in there as well. The kind of more alien side of things, but then it's got a kind of feel of the Russell T Davies era, which I think combines very nicely together into the kind of Chibnall era. So overall, with the new TARDIS interior, I'm not sure about it yet. It might grow on me as the episodes go on, and who knows, I might get to the end of the series loving it. But, yeah. The Doctor, she manages to get the TARDIS back at the end of the episode and promises to get them home. Although, the next episode is supposedly due to feature Rosa Parks. So it'll kind of presumably be around the kind of 40s and 50s era, so I don't know if they're going to be getting home until at least episode 4. But, yeah, comparing it to the kind of first adventures of other previous Doctors, like New Earth, The Beast Below, and Into the Dalek, it's decent. It's not the best, no, but it's far from the worst. And I do think it's a pretty good episode. Not the best, not the worst. Good. Well, anyway, next week, Rosa. So, yeah.